Well, hello, and welcome everyone to our BG5 Live. Great to have all of you here today. Today is September 28th. It's 2021. This is episode 124. And today we're going to take a look at trait 18. And we're going to take a look at trait 18 in quality 3. And we're going to take a look at correcting what has been spoiled. We're going to take a look at the Zealot and cleaning house. Again, correcting what has been spoiled. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. Now, before we get started, let's say hello to our panel. So let's start with Anna. Hey, Anna, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me, and hello to everybody.
Great to have you here. Welcome, welcome. And let's go to Linda.
Yes, hello everyone. Happy to be here as well. And for today, ready to correct everything that's not quite that good. So, and it's part of my life work. So get your seatbelts.
Is your birthday coming up here?
Yes, next Friday.
Next Friday. Happy birthday.
Yes, next Friday. So I'm going to upheaval everything today.
Love it. Well, welcome, Linda. And let's go to Shelley.
Hello, Linda. Hello, everybody. Linda, I'm just thrilled to understand that a little bit more about you now. Great to be here and have fun having a look at the correcting what's been spoiled.
Excellent. Well, thank you again, Shelley, for being here. And again, I'm Karen Sherwood, and welcome to our BG5 Live. Let's start with taking a look at our last trait in September. And again, September has all been about this emotionally inspired confusion to find meaning in the past, to resolve conflict, and pushing upward, working on what has been spoiled. So today we're working on what has been spoiled. So we can see we have taken a look this month at abstraction, before completion, and confusion. We've taken a look at realization, finding meaning in the past, the oppression. We've taken a look at friction, feeling, emotional, emoting, and sensitivity and conflict. We took a look last week at determination, pushing upward, the love of the body, and coordination. Today, we're taking a look at correction. We're taking a look at what has been spoiled. And what's going to be interesting as we move forward into October, in October, we're going to be taking a look at all of the traits of the survival instinct. So what's very interesting is following the 46, which is the love of the body, we then take a look at each and every trait that is in the survival instinct. And it's interesting that the survival instinct also has the purpose fulfilled through connection. So part of the way that we survive and part of the way that we are able to make sure that we survive moving forward into the future is through that connection. So it'll be interesting taking a look at October and going through all of those traits. We can see when we take a look at the 18, what grounds the 18 is the 17 of opinions. So we're correcting things, and what really grounds it is those opinions. So let's jump in and take a deeper look. Also, I just wanted to point out, we still have the 3420. Remember, the 3420 is part of the current environment. This is the same environment that we took a look at last week with the 3420 in quality 4. So we have our personal power and triumph, and contemplation and application. So one of the interesting things that I've been noticing for myself personally, and having this particular strength actually defined, is I feel like things are going very fast, and I feel like I've had a lot of energy to get a lot of stuff done. This is part of this strength of charisma with the 3420. It is an express builder strength. So it is this extra energy to do, to get things done. And so you may be experiencing that, or you may be experiencing the opposite. It may feel uncomfortable. You may feel yourself burnt out. So it can operate in that way as well. So interesting to pay attention to that. And remember, we took a look at this last week as well. When we take a look at trait 34 in quality 4, this personal power and triumph, this is the freedom and absolute victory to unlimited use of power. This is a tendency in victory to restrain excessive power in favor of more subtle and covert styles, or it can be ego gratification in the unrestricted use of power with impunity, and that inevitably leads to abuse. So one of the things with 18 as well, which we're going to take a look at, also has to do with authority and the fear of authority or facing authority. So I think it's kind of interesting that we're dealing with this personal power, but we're also taking a look, at how power is being used. And do we trust our own personal power, or do we trust the outer authorities? And so that is coming into play when we take a look at the 18 as well, which we'll be taking a look at today. The 20 of contemplation and application, the recognition and awareness that can only be transformed into action in cooperation with those that have the ability to act upon and understand. So it's the teacher whose students transcends him, or the tendency to prefer theory to application. Right. So I didn't know if any of you on our panel, since we've been in this for a couple of weeks, if you've noticed anything about taking a look at this personal power, this contemplation, this triumph, this application, this strength of charisma, and how it's affected you, or what you've noticed about that.
Oh, it's interesting. I realized I'm unmuted already, so I guess I'll jump in here. I have noticed this more, Karen, and as the more you talk about it, the more I'm recognizing that as that classic builder, I'm really learning about how slow my process really is, and that things like this take a long time to come to my awareness. But now that I can see things, I realize this is what I've been doing is I don't have this strength naturally, but I have definitely over the last couple of weeks been doing a lot of contemplation about, okay, I'm just starting my coaching practice up. So how am I going to apply all of this? In what ways? And there's been a whole lot of contemplation around that. And how do I tap into my personal powers and bring the fullness of who I am in my design to the world in a way that I can really make a difference. So that's really is the background theme of what's been happening for me. And it feels like for me, not a huge amount of energy, but just more of a, come on, you can do this, get going, keep going. And again, my turtle pace, I'm really, as a person who thought I was a manifesting or an express builder all my life, or acted like one, the challenge for me has been actually slowing down and really tuning into who I am as a classic builder, that I need that time to take one step at a time. And so this feels like a lot of encouragement and a lot of support to, yeah, go for it. You can do it. Just keep working through it, and you'll get the ahas, and it'll all make sense. So that's how it's been affecting me, that I'm recognizing now.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Shelley. Anything from Anna or Linda that you would like to add?
Yeah, I have a number of people in my life with the 2034. And the builder people are very energized. But I had a client yesterday who's actually an innovator. I like to work with innovators. And she has the 20. And so she has a lot of pressure, both from the head and the root, to do. And innovators aren't meant to really do stuff. So our process was beautiful, because there was this interface between something that's natural to her, which is to be productive and energetic, but that's not her authority. That's not her way of going about her business. And so it was a very subtle little dance to understand personal power from a non-sacral energetic place. And she was wonderful. She really got it. She let her body tell her what an innovator's energy works on, from being moved, not being pushed or driven or, you know, activated all the time. So I thought that was really interesting to see these variations this week, you know, with the 2034 active.
Exactly. And again, especially if you're not a builder, and especially if you're not an express builder, seeing how it affects you. And Linda, you're an express builder. I don't know if you've noticed anything with this 3420 activated.
Yes, just like Shelley shared, I feel like I'm working a little bit harder and more efficiently. I really get things done. So I like this background frequency a lot, because I have a lot of things to get done these days. And also really nice that I'm working with other entrepreneurs in also building my business. So I feel like it's really, it's moved into action in the cooperation, because we stimulate each other and we contemplate about how to applicate our businesses and things in our businesses. So that's really wonderful to experience. But I also, just like I shared last week, I also feel in the world that there is a bubble of personal power that is going to stand up and is creating a counter effect on what is going on in lots of governments. I feel like people are standing up, feeling like, but this is not what I want. I used to listen to you, but what are you doing? So I feel like the shift is still, and the balance, I feel like the balance is maybe now overturning in things like riots, maybe a little bit rebellious, and looking forward with the 18 of correction, etc. In the background frequency, what will happen next?
Right, exactly.
But yeah, I feel like the balance is going to the other side, maybe is going to be too much, but eventually I feel like everything will be balanced out again. But I feel like we are experiencing a different kind of energy rise at this moment. So
yeah, exactly.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, and I love looking at this, because it's a little bit longer of an activation, so we can start to feel it more over time. Whereas, you know, the day comes, the day goes, we still experience it, but being able to experience the sort of background frequency for a longer period of time helps ground it. And it's interesting taking a look at this background frequency and then layering on what the theme of the day is all about. So today's theme is 18 of correction. So if we take a look at correction, this is dissatisfaction fuels the lifelong process of correcting and improving. So when there's dissatisfaction with what's going on, we want to fix it. We want to correct it. We want to make it better. Underneath this dissatisfaction lies a deep concern for human rights. So trait 18 often has to do with fighting for the rights of, fighting for our human rights, and what will keep society healthy and in harmony with itself. So again, it's working on what has been spoiled. This is part of the essential learning. So it's seeing what is wrong and what needs to be improved. And it's also the enjoyment of discovering, naming, and challenging what needs to be corrected. So not only seeing it, but identifying what needs to be correctness, or what needs to be corrected. And it's critical awareness. And this critical awareness directs you to the source of weakness or imperfection and focuses your thinking on ways to correct or modify or replace it. Now, this is in the survival instinct. And with the survival instinct, it is an awareness function. So it's how we take in information. There's also a fear associated with each of the awareness functions and each of the traits within the awareness functions. And so this is a fear for survival. This is the survival instinct, and this is the fear of authority. So one of the things that we may see, as Linda was talking about us owning our personal power, we may have a fear of authority along with the desire to challenge authority. So this is taking a look also at what has been spoiled, or what is not good, or what is corrupt, or what needs to be corrected within authority itself. So I find that quite fascinating as well. Again, layering it on to the past and future direction of what the background is currently. So I would love to hear from our panel. I know, Linda, you do have the 18. Not only do you have the 18, it's also part of your life work as well. So I'd love to start with you in finding out a little bit more detail about what this 18 is all about with correction.
Yeah, well, what to say? It's my core essence. So yes, in my life, I have fought against this trait because I was correcting myself for a very long time. So, and that's not a good thing, I can tell you, because there's always something that can be corrected and that can be improved, etc. But in experiencing human design and BG5, and I have it in the 5th line. So I love therapy. I'm a coach, natural coach. And what I really do is challenging everything that all the negative thoughts of my clients. I instinctively know what's bothering them. I just know. And then I'm going to bring out the shadows, challenge them and all the negative thoughts. And I'm going to, and that's really what's beautifully said in the description of this trait, is that I have a deep concern for human rights. I want people to be in harmony with themselves and to embrace themselves and to love themselves instead of also correcting themselves, because that's what negative thoughts are doing. They are keeping you in a loop of not accepting yourself. So I want to correct that. And I gradually stopped correcting myself. And that's a process, because when I'm in my shadows and when I'm tired, and I have a tendency to be really critical to myself. And the authority thing. Well, I've been sometimes fired because I'm really innocent, but I am really good at pointing out exactly what's not going on. And when I'm not invited to do so, because it's projected, this trait. When I'm not invited to do so, I am, I get punished. So, and also in this whole, everything that's going on in the world, I'm really critical because my life work is upheaval. So I can really see which systems do not work. So I'm really critical at systems, and our government is no longer working. It's not. So I am, when I was younger, I had a fear of authority, but last years, I really have the desire to challenge authority and to really be critical at, okay, what are you doing and what are the consequences for our human rights? Because I want to keep society healthy and to have a polarity that's created now, and that we are going to have a division between people that follow the rules, maybe out of fear of authority, that they are getting punished if they don't follow the rules, and the people that are challenge it. That's really two opposites right now. Yeah, I am at the side of the challenging part. So I cannot help it. It's just, and it's also really nice that I feel like I will, my life long, I will learn and I will improve things. And also I love to literally clean house, to make things beautiful, and to that everything is in place and it looks great. And so, yeah, this is me. I cannot, yeah. So I hope people will like me still after knowing this. So Shelley, yeah, you know a little bit more about me. So, once I was in a Living Your Design workshop, and somebody already knew things about human design, and he asked me, what is your life work? I said, upheaval. Oh, I don't want anything to do with you. And I thought, I'm really nice, I'm really kind, I don't know, but he had a really bad experience with someone. So most of the time I'm really I'm really nice. I hope so. So that's my experience.
I love that. And, and this is really a great trait, as well as, if you have the entire strength, if you're a coach or you're a consultant, you want to be careful what you're correcting. Just like Linda was saying, if you're too much focused on yourself and trying to correct yourself, or sometimes, you need to pick your battle. Sometimes if you're too critical of others, that can come across as, like you said, not invited. But for the most part, again, it can be really powerful when you are using this trait correctly. Yeah. Thank you, Linda. How about for you, Shelley?
Oh, Linda, I loved what you said, and it just was so interesting to hear. I don't have any of this trait, but my father had the whole strength, and both of my kids, my son and daughter, both have the same, the full strength, and it's part of their life's work. And so I've really gotten to understand this more through reflecting on how it was likely being very conditioned by my father, because I recognize that I've spent most of my career looking for what's not working and finding ways to correct, modify, or replace it. Now I do have the strength of innovation, so I'm always had that driving me to look for something better. But I recognize now that when I step into that space of well, technology is the world I came from, I really don't feel comfortable doing that anymore. It's not really who I am. I am here to bring innovation, but not necessarily to focus on how to correct, modify, or replace things. And my body feels that now when I think about that work I used to do. So it's interesting how we can be conditioned to do something that we think we should do because of the influences around us. And then it becomes more of a shadow we're kind of driven to do, as opposed to coming from a natural place of what we're really meant to do. And you get good conditioning too. It's not, it's great for me to have learned how to see where things aren't working. That's a great skill to have, and to be able to point it out, but to not waste my energy trying to show people that, because it doesn't come across, especially if it's not invited. Like you were saying, it can be used as a sword or as something that's truly helpful. The thing I've really had a better understanding about it with is working with my daughter, who's an advisor, and she has the strength and it's her life's work. And before she found this out about herself, she was always, she said, I just don't know how to carry all of this around me. The only thing I can see are all the things that are broken. I can only see all the things that need to be fixed. And I feel like I'm judging and criticizing everything all the time. And it was like more of a burden to her, because she didn't know how to approach that without feeling like she was criticizing and judging everything. So, and as an advisor, doubly so, she's meant to lead and guide other people. So now that she understands how those things work together, her life's work is the life or service. And she wasn't sure how to do that. How do I judge and criticize and be of service? So getting to have a full design analysis and the profit potential path really helped her figure out, oh, I see now how this is a gift if I use it wisely, if I use it when invited and recognized. And as soon as she was able to sort of understand that about herself, she started being recognized and invited to do process improvements at work, which lightens up her energy. She actually she feels light when she does that kind of work, where she was stuck in a day-to-day job, having to slog through all the things that were broken, and it was exhausting her. And so to be recognized and invited to be part of the process that makes those changes for the benefit of all just lifted her completely up. And she's now, recognized as that person who has the ability to help change the system. So I think it's wonderful when you really understand how these pieces work together and how you're meant to serve. So,
yes. Wow. What a powerful story. Yeah, thank you, Shelley. And it really illustrates again the power, but also sometimes the struggle. The entire strength is called judgment, and so again, you may feel like you're judging everyone and everything, and you only see those things that need correcting. And how beautiful that she's now able to utilize that strength in a very positive way in her work as well. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Shelley. How about for you, Anna?
I have a couple things. One is when I'm looking at this word dissatisfaction, some people don't know they're dissatisfied, but they recognize it through discomfort. So I just wanted to make that, sometimes people are uncomfortable, something, that itchy feeling or that like, crabby or something, but those are signals from your body, from your energy that's saying, something ain't quite right here. What is it? What do I do with it? So your body will tell you on a personal level when something's not working. Another, to segue from there, I have someone close to me who has the full strength, and I would notice, and he's in a management field, so he can do correct, he has permission to correct things, get things back on track, innovate, change things up, address things. But on a personal level, I would notice when he was uncomfortable about something that he would personally direct it to something I did. And this was very mild. It was very subtle. He was not real critical or any of that stuff, but just kind of a little snip of something. And it would make me laugh, actually, because I recognized, oh, this is the 18. And it was like sort of, kind of that goofy stuff that comes out of the blue, but I could tell, thank goodness, through understanding mechanics and BG5, that he was uncomfortable about something, his body wasn't happy. And he would direct it personally, which isn't the place for it. Right. And I was very grateful that I knew not to personalize that. It actually would make me chuckle a few times and piss him off. But I could disrupt the energy of not quite being correct, and it would blow over. But I just think, I don't have the 18. So it was a relief to me to not personalize it finally after all these years. And the third point I wanted to make is in September, we've been talking about, all the changes and the moods and the energy. September is a transition month, end of a season, moving into another quarter. And I've been watching traditional financial markets and newer crypto markets. And it's been a really unsettling month, and it always is in September. And that's the nature of sort of that cycle. And I've just been really fascinated by this whole markets course correct, or big influences try to correct markets. Nations now, since we're so global, one nation, will have some critical event financially, and it affects the whole market, not only in the States where we live, but all over the world. You see this sort of wonky up, down, sideways, stalling, going up. All this stuff happens in September. And I just, there's a collective energy there in financial markets. And I just find that really fascinating because it's trying to correct. There are natural forces, very complex, and you can't direct it at all. You can't direct it personally at all. You kind of have to, be patient with the cycle of September, or, the end of the season, the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I found it very fascinating.
Wow. Really beautifully shared, Anna. Yeah, interesting to look at it from that perspective as well. Interesting. And Maria was saying she has the 18 in quality 3 in unconscious past direction. So she's been there, especially with not accepting myself and authority figures. So being able to see that. And I think Debbie also has the 18 consciously in communication. And Sherry is saying, I don't have the 18 or the 58. Are you covering how we are impacted when we text or Zoom with someone who does have the 18? Well, you can experience it right now because we have someone who has the 18. That's a really good question. Let's actually take a look at real quickly how you are affected when you are connected. So taking a look at the shadow of the 18, or if you don't have the 18. Now, on the other side of the 18 is trait 58. This is joyous vitality. So it's the fuel to correct, especially if there's, if you're disappointed or things are not correct, it interrupts your joyous vitality. So the questions are, do you feel desperate to be of service in some way? And do you feel like you want to commit your energy to fixing things, but you're not clear on how an improvement can be made? The problem is that you naturally have the energy and enthusiasm when you have the 58. So you naturally have energy and enthusiasm about life, but struggle how to figure out how to direct your vitality in doing something for the good of others. You may feel desperate to be of service in some way, but don't know how to do it. And you may struggle in knowing even what needs to be corrected, right? Because there's something that's disrupting your joyous vitality and you want to get it fixed. So if that's the case, the solution is that you're designed to work in partnership with someone who can help provide a clear awareness of how the improvement can be made. So this can be a great connection with someone with the 58 and someone with the 18 working together in collaboration. One provides the energy, the other provides what needs to be fixed or corrected. So again, you're designed to work in partnership with someone who can provide a clear awareness of how improvement can be made. Working with someone else allows you to put your energy and vitality towards being of service in a bigger way. So that's how you can be affected when you're connected. And I think Shelley and Anna, none of us, I think, have the 58, right? We don't have the 18 or the 58. So we have it completely open. And so again, it's interesting, Shelley, what you were talking about earlier, how you can be affected is that, especially if you're around someone, for example, especially your mom and dad, right? Authority figures that have that you feel like you also need to carry that through as well. And it's interesting that you have so many people in your life that have that particular strength also. Mhm.
Yeah,
Anything that,
and
yeah, Shelley.
sorry, and just the more we talk about it and the more everybody else has said, I really just recognize that I automatically start looking for what's wrong in a situation. And I think there's part of pessimism is somewhere else in my design. So I think lots of pieces come together to assist each other here. But what I really noticed, just thinking back on even this weekend, we were in a little family meeting, and just being influenced by this, feeling like I needed to figure out what was wrong. But underlying all of it was this sense that I don't have the energy to figure this out. I don't have the energy to support even noticing what's wrong. These are things that are popping up, and I feel compelled to do something with them, but I don't feel good about it. And it just kind of feels yucky. And so that can, when I'm just recognizing now that when I was feeling that, it's really just sort of the shadow at play, the inconsistent energy just not being there to support what your mind is telling you think you need to do. So I think that's how I've noticed the shadow impacts me, or this openness impacts me. So I think I'll be able to pay more attention to that now going forward, realizing that, oh, okay, I might notice stuff and just let it float through my mind and not get hooked into feeling like I have to do something with it, because I don't
Yes.
actually have the energy to do anything with it. It's not
Yeah.
who I am. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm glad we were
exactly.
talking about this.
And I can relate to that as well, not having the 18 or the 58. In even not even knowing what needs to be corrected, or feeling like something needs to be corrected, but I don't have the energy to correct it. Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And realizing how much it's distracted me in my life from who I really am, which is
Mm,
somebody who's here to bring innovation and change. I would get caught up in trying to figure out what all the problems were and fix them, instead of just focusing on, no, what's the new thing I just want to bring forward? That's
yes,
the thing that's really hit me in this discussion today, is that, oh no, I'm here to just bring in the new.
right,
I can see what the problems are, but this is what might help, and I don't need to get caught up in trying to fix them all.
right, exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah. And what about you, Anik, since you don't have the 18 or the 58 either?
Well, I like what Shelley just said, and listening to you, Linda, about how it works for you. It's given me more information to be aware of as well. But I think, not having it, not having the sacral energy, and having open drive and stamina, I can relate to that pressure of, uh, but it's diffuse because I don't have these traits. So there's sort of this, what would I say, sort of hop, skip, jump to another function to try to resolve it. I mean, the shadow, in our unawareness, it's easy to try to use, adapt incorrectly, to do something with our vitality, but with, and do whatever we're trying to do with it, correct it or enjoy life more or whatever. But again, for me, basically, if you're aware of your energy level and that joy and vitality, when you use your decision-making strategy, you can't help but funnel it correctly.
Yeah.
And so, if you're getting all caught up with, ooh, is this right or wrong, or I'm feeling driven, or I'm feeling crazy by seeing all these faults in the world. Again, this isn't a personal energy. So you can't do much with it unless, it's like Linda, you have the knack for where to place it. But if you don't know where to place it, your decision, to be aware of, oh, this is kind of misplaced. I don't know what to do with it. returning to your decision-making strategy is going to direct that vitality and joy to your correct way of using it.
Yeah. Nicely said. Really nicely said. Beautiful. Thank you, Anna.
Yeah, I would like to emphasize that, because how to use this energy, this trait, it can be destructive.
Mm,
If you are not invited, you are, with your awareness, you are able to point it really at the sore spot, and it can be devastating for the other person.
mm,
And I encountered that in my life because I was not aware of my design in my younger years. And I was, even as a child, I was able to point out, oh, that's not correct with this person. I just, because I knew. My
mm.
awareness is, I immediately know. And then I get resistance because you are a child. How can you say that? But I knew, and now I know why I got resistance, and also why I got resistance in work situations. It was really the school of hard knocks. But my design and understanding my design really helped me to embrace this trait, because it's my core
Mm.
essence. So it's 70% of who I am. But at first I was not really happy with it, and also correcting myself, as I mentioned. And then you can also, bring a lot of damage to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's a really good point.
because it's powerful. It's really powerful. You see everything, you feel it. All your instincts are involved. Everything.
Mm,
So it's powerful. But when you are able to direct it, just like Anna shared, in the right way, then then you can transform people, and you can
yes.
transform people's life. Because what my goal in life is to let people embrace themselves and love themselves. And that's what I love doing. But in that, I challenge their negative thoughts about themselves. So
Yes, exactly. And some people don't want that correction, even though they
no.
need it and
Yeah,
and can
exactly.
resist it. So yes, being aware of that, especially if you have that trait and you have that resistance, again, as we mentioned, it is a projected strength. It's an advisor strength. So it does need to be recognized and invited. And Antonia is saying, whoa, Linda, that is so interesting about correctly directing the energy of the trait 18, transformational versus the incorrect way, damaging. Exactly. Right. It's part of the strength of judgment. And we always say, oh, we shouldn't judge, but we do. And especially if you have this trait and if you have this strength. It's not something that is wrong with you, but you do need to use it in the correct way, because it, as Tonya beautifully pulled it all together, the transformation versus the incorrect way of damaging, and as Linda said. Yeah, exactly.
And Karen, I was just reading a little bit more on the 18.3 and the line companion, and the thing that stood out to me there, because that's what my son has, the 18.3, is that this correction, oh, you're coming right to it.
Yes.
Is necessary for forward progress. If we didn't do this, we wouldn't have moved anywhere. We wouldn't have been able to, we'd still be, I think his words were, we'd still be dancing the same way we danced at the very beginning. We'd still be singing, working, doing everything we did the way we did it the first time. We never would have made progress if we weren't able to look at what needed to be corrected and changed in order to move forward. So
yes, exactly. Yeah. And when we take a look at the quality 3 is the zealot. It's the pioneer. It's bringing forth change. It's bringing forth something that's different. Just like you were saying, Shelley, it's the energetic obsession to clean house, right? So it's the obsession with correction and its critical potential. This is the dissolution of old forms, or the dissolution of old
Dissolution.
forms. What's that?
You had it right.
Okay.
Dissolution.
Yeah. Dissolution. Okay. There we go. I've been having my dyslexia has been kicking in today. Um, the dissolution of old forms at an accepted price. The challenge is the obsession with correction that does not bring satisfaction and the rigid judgment that creates as many problems as it solves. So it kind of goes along, what we were talking about. So this energetic obsession to clean house, you need to clean house, as you were saying, Shelley, before you can bring in something new, right? If you keep bringing in things new, it just gets messier and messier and messier. And sometimes you can't have that clarity until you've cleaned everything out so that you can really see what the potential is. Yeah, beautifully said. So Linda or Shelley or Anna, is there anything else that you would like to add to quality 3 and this zealot and this energetic obsession to clean house?
I'll just share. I know my son who has this, and he's also a 6'3", so a leader pioneer. He just quietly does this in the background in his workplace. He's been in a leadership role, but not actually being recognized and paid for as that. But he does this. He's been going through correcting all of the systems that aren't working and improving them all so that everybody else's work runs smoothly. And he does it mostly because he can't stand it. He can't stand to work in the environment where things are not efficient and organized and working well. So he's just now starting to stand up, and people are now starting to recognize that it's been him doing this behind the scenes all along. They're asking him questions about things, and he's going, yeah, well, I did it like this. And so it's just kind of it's been interesting for me to read about this just today, to map that onto what he's been telling me has been happening for him at work over his 10-year career. So
yeah,
it's interesting to see that that's his life work too. It's his life work to make the corrections in this way. So he just does it. He can't not do it. Just like Linda said, you can't not do it. He has the full strength. He can't not do it. But he has learned how to be a humble leader. Like, he doesn't just trump all over people. He's very quietly does it with influence and impact without annoying people or getting in the way. I think the hardest part for him has been that nobody's known that it was him doing this all along. So those covert, I think you're somewhere back at the beginning, you were talking about using covert methods to do this. That's been his MO, is just to be covertly doing it in the background, improving life for everybody, and they didn't know it was him doing it.
Wow. Yeah, really great example. Thank you for sharing that, Shelley. And we have our celebrity and their life work theme. So we're talking about the life work theme of service. We have Jerry Lee Lewis. He's a singer, songwriter, and pianist. You may recognize the song with the "Goodness Gracious, Great Balls of Fire," or "Whole Lot of Shaking Going On." So he's an American rock and roll and country music singer, songwriter, and pianist. He was an early pioneer. So interesting that it was a pioneer of quality 3, pioneer of rock and roll music. Lewis was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986, and his pioneering contribution to the genre has been recognized as recognized by the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. So again, showing up with the quality 3 and really being the pioneer and being a pioneer in rock and roll music and rockabilly and part of the Hall of Fame. And so the life work theme is service. So you're part of an ongoing process of correcting and perfecting the archetypes of the male, female, the mother, father, the opinions and corrections in service of humanity by working to what will make good even better. All right, so that is the life work theme of service. All right. And Shelley, you were saying, is it, your son has this as his life work theme?
No, I was just looking that up again. It's in his unconscious core essence and
Oh,
grounding
okay.
and balance. He's got the 15 as which is about prevention. So he uses it in conjunction with preventing things from going wrong by correcting them before they can go wrong. So that's kind of the way it works for him, alongside of his conscious core essence. So, but he does have the 18-3. That is his. So he's got the 3 of the pioneer, trying new ways to do things that people aren't aware of or hadn't thought of before, and correcting things, putting new things in place, and pioneering new ways. So
love it.
yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yay. All right. Really, really rich discussion. And so each of our panelists, if you want to think about what are things that you want to take a look at or have people pay attention to over the next week. Again, I wanted to first just again let you know that if you have missed our mini summit, it is still available. You can go to the free resources at the BG5 Business Institute and take a look at our mini summit. Again, if you want to see, do I have trait 18 or not? You can download your chart at the BG5 Business Institute. You can download a free personalized chart. Again, you can follow us on BG5 Live. You can follow us on YouTube. You can watch past episodes in our free resource library. You can also take a look at what the trait of the day is as well. And again, our classes have just started. This is sort of the last chance that you can still register. Then our next semester will be starting in January. So just as a reminder, this is the last chance to sign up for this semester's classes. All right, let's wrap everything up. And I would love to hear from each of our panelists, and I don't know if there has been anything in Facebook or anything additional in our Zoom room that we can add as well. But let's go ahead and start with Anna. In being in trait 18 this week, what should people be aware of or pay attention to this week?
Well, one of the things I've been musing on is, even though we're talking about our human experience, what's really going on is these energies are cosmic, they're universal. We're stimulated through the neutrino stream, and so this energy affects us. It's way bigger than us, even if we have a personal experience with it. This is part of the natural order to have correction, to adapt, to feel anxious when something's not right, and to move into an innovation or a change or whatever. So what I would suggest is, when you're having some personal experience with this, whether you're being criticized or you're being critical, or whether you're flowing into this transition of correction, become aware of how it affects you personally, but also that it is the nature of how our binary system is really working. We're a physical entity, but there's a far bigger energetic that goes on with it. So remember, it's flowing through you. Let it flow through you, whatever the experience is.
Yeah, beautifully said, Anna. Thank you so much. Linda Gaia was saying, my father has the life work theme of upheaval, and I have the 18 3 times in my design, so I can resonate a lot with what has been shared today. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Linda. And let's go to Shelley.
Oh, I think you should ask Linda first. I'm still thinking about it.
Okay, let's go to Linda first.
Well, I loved what Anna was sharing. It's with this background frequency, it's really about awareness, you may feel more critical towards yourself because you are going to take a look at your own life with another perspective, or at the world's view. And I feel like it will also play out with the 3420, that you may feel that something is not quite right in your life. So I feel like you may feel invited to take a look at that, but not be judgmental about why you are at that point in your life, because becoming aware of what's going on is kind of a gift, and it gives you the opportunity to make different choices. So I feel like, and that's what I've been feeling, a couple of weeks already, that we all are challenged to become ourselves, to know what's going on in our lives, what we feel like is important in our lives. And this trait will tease out your inner truth even more. So be aware, be not judgmental, but see it as it is, and go back to your decision-making strategy to make the choices to get back on track, or to make a different choice that will lead you to a new direction, and maybe to a more fulfilling life and your role in life. So
Wow, beautifully said, Linda. Thank you so very much. Wonderful. Yeah, and Shelley.
I love listening to you guys. You inspire me so much. I think what was coming to me as you were talking to is about having this open, about being open to receiving some criticisms, because and to also recognizing that people that have this trait and or the strength have a really powerful tool that they can use to help us all. And it's really about recognizing how challenging it can be for them to use that tool appropriately, and to go easy on them, because if they're not aware that they have that power and they may not be using it correctly, it's really just as hard for them as it is for us. So I think just building that awareness and getting to a place where we're able to recognize and invite the people that have this kind of strength to help us, see what's wrong and what needs correcting, because it's so necessary and important, especially at this big transition stage we're going through, for us to have people that have this gift to help us see really clearly what needs to change and help us move forward in this time we're moving into. So that's kind of that's where I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, really powerful. Really, really powerful. Yeah, what an amazing, amazing discussion. And again, just take in everything that we've looked at, and again, take a look at where you're judging yourself, where you're judging others. Again, just bring that awareness. Where can you use it for transformation? Where can it cause damage? Again, taking a look both for yourself or for those that may use it, and what does need to be corrected. Take a look and pay attention to what needs to be corrected in your own life personally, out in the world in general. And it's, you can only start to correct things through that awareness. Again, it is in an awareness function. So it's part of when we take a look at the survival instinct, the shadow of it is not knowing when to, what to let go of, or not knowing when to let go of things. And sometimes there's a correction that needs to be made so that we let go of what's been there in the past. And sometimes it's difficult because sometimes we don't like change. But again, cleaning house may be one of those things that's necessary in order to bring in what's new. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. It has been our absolute pleasure And we look forward to seeing you next week as we move into October and we take a look at all of the other survival instincts. So, and each one of them will have a fear. Each one of them will have an awareness. So stay aware, stay alert, follow your decision-making strategy, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Have a good week.